So, hello everyone on YouTube, I'm live on Twitch. I'm going to take a look at Leffen's review of Tekken 7. Could be very interesting. Now, I'm not super familiar with Leffen or the Smash scene. I actually know next to nothing about it. I just know that Leffen, who's below me here, is a fellow Swede. I think we even live in the same town. I think he lives in Stockholm or same city. And yeah, I don't play Smash. But what I know, I've seen him play versus Chillin' Dude. You better retire now, Grandpa. Ha ha ha. That storyline was pretty funny. So I watched that. But other than that, I really don't know nothing about it. But he's a Smash player. He's tried Tekken. And this is interesting. He's a pro player, right? What does a pro player who plays Smash think of Tekken? So we're going to get some insight into this now.
Hello everyone, I'm going to do my review slash first impression slash what the fuck is, rest in peace Total Biscuit, of Tekken. To be clear, I played this game for 66 hours. I tried it once it first came out. It crashed 3 times in 2 minutes, so I gave up on it. It also had no sample combos.
That's a fast moving chat. That's the power of Mario Brothers or Smash Bros celebrity. Or having a black beard like Aris. It just attracts viewers.
Since then. I think the game came out in arcades 5 years ago, and Season Pass 3 has just started, and they added some new things. So I thought I'd give the game another look. I've been playing it on stream, and off stream, I've been watching a lot of videos about it, and yeah, just gonna be me going through what I think about the game. Let's get this out of the way. Some people's feelings will be hurt. I do not hate the game. I think the game is great, but not for...
I've never understood why people's feelings get hurt over someone trying a game and then saying it's not for me. Like, what?
For everyone. That's basically the TLDR. If all you're in is for the first knee-jerk reaction, that's what it is. That's my generalizing statement. That probably will be the title. Before I go through any of the subjective stuff, let's start by doing the more objective things. I've been running the game at 1440p. Runs pretty well. I have a 1070, but yeah, the game runs okay. It does drop FPS. You can see it up in the corner. Sometimes sound options, control settings, bottom mapping, all these things is standard. You can customize kind of how the UI looks as well a little bit with some customization.
Okay, he's really detailed.
So there's 45 characters, I think, 46. There's a lot of characters. I have all of them but Elisa, because you have to buy separately. Yeah, so I've been playing Kazumi, the basic character who I specifically picked to get an early start in the game, and so yeah, I feel like I've gotten a pretty good handle on the game so far.
Okay, so just one thing. Kazumi is a pretty great character if you really want to get into Tekken as quickly as possible and not do as well as possible immediately, but learn the fundamental mechanics. Kazumi is a great approach here. Rather than doing the Forsen, another fellow Swede who picked up Katarina, jiggled the tits, and then pressed the 4 button over and over. You certainly get a lot of wins quickly, but you don't really learn a lot of things quickly. You just prolong the time it takes to learn the game.
Let's do this stage because that's the best song. I played ranked. I think I have like 300 wins or so maybe like 500, 600 matches in ranked. Some in player matches, not too much offline though, and I'll get into why later. This is just my rap sheet, I think I'm currently Savior. Highest rank I was Gembu, which I think is pretty good for 1 week. I think I reached really Gembu at 175 wins or something like that.
That's really good with Kazumi in 1 week. But he is a pro fighting game player.
And just to be clear, I pick Azumi because I didn't want to cheese. I kind of want to learn the basic Tekken fundamentals. Like, I got some offers to be coached, but I specifically said no because I wanted to learn the game how an average person would learn it. Maybe I learned a little bit faster because I played a lot of fighting games. But of course, if you get personally coached, the experience will be very different. Yeah, Gembu is pretty middle of the road in terms of player base. I think it's top 20% or something. Other competitive players, most people are probably, far above Gembu, but there's definitely a lot of people in Gembu that still...
All professional players are Tekken God Prime and far above. Tekken God Prime is quite easy to achieve these days. When I say easy, I mean it as in, easy for people who have spent a lot of time with this game. I mean, I have, what, 10 Tekken God Primes? in season 1, nowhere fucking close to getting even, you know, Fujin. I made it to like almost Divine Ruler. I had 2 promotion attempts to Divine Ruler and I flunked them both. Yeah, Genbu is super sick after a week. It's incredible. But, you know, these days I have a lot of friends who are not that into Tekken. And I would say Genbu is, to be honest, it's an intermediate rank these days. But in a week, you know, wow.
Go to tournaments and lower, of course. Yeah, obviously, you know, the average Tekken player has played the game for very, very long. And the game has largely remained the same, although there has been change from game to game, of course.
It's remained the same since Tekken 5. Up until Tekken 5, it really transformed a lot with each and every game. It was super creatively, you know, changed every game. But then with Tekken 5, they said, okay, that's it. Perfect Tekken. And since then, you've been playing Tekken 5.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. Tekken 7 is really the perfection of a Tekken 5 formula.
So getting to the middle or even, you know, even low level of that kind of player base, I think I consider myself pretty good, you know? No, I am not the best Tekken player. I know some combos, I know some setups. I've talked with some people. So for some of this review / first impressions, I will be referring to them and their opinions. Now, for example, the story, right? There's a cool intro cutscene.
My God, he's gonna do a story review. I just thought he was gonna talk about gameplay. So now I see why the video is 15+ minutes.
When you start up the game, I played a little bit of the story the first time and I was hilariously bored 5 minutes in. And from basically every single person I've talked to, they say that the story mode in this game is not good, aka not worth buying the game for. If you're looking for single player stuff, this is not the game. Now, there are sample combos, but many of these are not the best.
Now we're at sample combos. Jesus, we're jumping. Yeah, the story is pretty lackluster. The narrator is famously terrible. Will put you to sleep within 5 words. If you're a die-hard Mishima enthusiast, you're gonna like the Heihachi stuff, but other than that, it is very lackluster. I agree.
Sample combo, they're not even that well explained. They don't say delay, they don't necessarily state exactly how well. It's a worse trial combo system than Tekken, than SF5, which is a pretty fucking low bar, honestly. But they recently...
No, here's where I'm gonna say that sample combos, sure, they don't explain everything. That can be a problem, but they do give you good combos and legit combos. You know, you can use, you know, it's like tournament staples, basically, a lot of them. And they give you, for each and every launcher, you know, 3 different options graded in difficulty. This is really good, I would say.
Yeah, so it's still very good to have, right? Like, you can get a feel for a character pretty quickly.
And exactly, they do show, if you click on them, they show you the combo, so you see the timing.
Yeah, at least. But I would advise you to, if you're learning a character, you're gonna have to look to YouTube. And that's gonna be a general theme, right?
Yes.
There's no tutorial in this game whatsoever, and we'll get to that, but it is what I consider the biggest flaw.
It's seen as the biggest flaw by Leffen and by a lot of people who are hardcore gamers. I mean, that's the definition of a hardcore gamer. But when I asked Harada about that, he said that we choose to not include tutorials because no one ever uses them. And they have data on that, and I'm certain he knows what he's talking about.
Of the Tekken experience. Now, something new they added is punishment training. Now, this you can put on. Tekken is a lot about punishing things on block. And you can learn how to punish things. And you can have them mix up between others. This is a great thing.
I thought he would start with talking about general gameplay. What about the gameplay? Going from Smash to Tekken. Very different, but we're talking about practice mode options.
Sadly, this does not have enough moves. My first match was playing a Psych who plays Shaheen, and I didn't know the punish was dive kick, sliding kick, and Shaheen's punishment training does not have it. Now, you can get around this by using record function, but it's pretty annoying for a new player, especially because you might not know how to perform the move. And if you look at the move list, well, there's a fucking lot of them, and they, you know, knowing exactly how is very hard. And now Kazumi is even a character with few moves at a measly 65 moves. Now, to basically start with Tekken, right? Like, it's a 3D game. This means a lot of things. It means you can sidestep, it means you can backdash, forward dash. You can sidewalk as well. This is what I'm doing right now. And to do the moves, it's kind of different than if you're coming straight out of Street Fighter, for example. Like, there's down back moves, there's back light, you have left punch, right punch, left kick, right punch, and then you have combinations to like grabs and shit like that. If you ever play Tekken, you probably know this. I was pretty fresh to it, honestly, and just getting used to doing the different moves, since there's usually one move per button in every direction, like down forward one, down one, down, hold down, it down one,
back
hold
one,
down one, then let go, and then one, which is called while rising, but while standing in the community. Yeah, it's pretty convoluted. The thing is, Tekken has a lot of moves, and it's probably the most divisive thing, I would say. 45-ish characters.
But it's also what gives Tekken really its identity. There's no other game that does that. You know, left, right, you have a button for each limb, you know, left hand, left leg, right leg, and a lot of moves on each and every character to really give a sense of a rich, you know, martial arts representation, you know, that it's not all about 10 moves when someone fights in real life. Well, I mean, MMA, standing roundhouse, takedown, left jab, right jab, but it really, you know, fleshes out the characters in a way no other fighting game does, and I feel like that gives the game its identity, you know.
And most of them have all the way from 60, 70, like Izumi, to King, who I think has like 200 moves or something. And you definitely don't use all of these moves, but you do use a lot of them. Now, the reason why
you don't use all of these moves, but that's always what you think when you play the game, and that's what makes it so beautiful. You go online and it's like, I fight a king, and you expect your typical king, you know, to do what you know. And then suddenly, randomly, in your opinion, he starts throwing those moves no one uses because they're seen as useless. But as you've never seen them, you don't know the properties, and you're like, what the fuck's going on? And you get fucked. That's the beauty of Tekken. All of those moves allow people to make such weird and different takes on characters. It's like Steve. Some people play him super defensively, only back one, trying to counter at you, very defensively, spacing oriented. And then some people play crazy rushdown Steve, and some people play stance Steve. It's like,
it has so many moves.
The characters are so complicated in that you can approach them in very different ways due to the very large arsenal of tools they have.
Basically, because throughout Tekken, they've mostly added moves through each generation, and most of these moves that are in were in Tekken 5, Tekken 6, you know, Tekken Tag 2. What does that mean? Well, it means that, yeah, 179. It's insane. And apparently there's some moves that are not even on here. Now, what does that mean? Well, it means that it's very, very advantageous to have played the previous Tekken games. So if you're coming in as a newbie, you have 45 characters to all learn, and you have...
It's not a coincidence that everyone who wins the big tournaments have been playing Tekken for like at least 10 years. Do you think it helps Ni, you know, who dominates most of the time? Do you think it helps him to have played the game for like, what, 20 years? Just a bit.
You know, at least 50 moves per character, right? Now, some of these characters won't use many of them. Kazumi is actually a character that uses very few moves per match, but the more moves you know, the better. And something for me that's been troubling me is when I play a Horang or when I play someone, it can be very, very hard for me to recognize, is this move plus? Is this move minus? Because most of them are kicks, right? Same thing for Steve. Like, he has a billion different punches because he only punches, right? This is one of my main problems with the game, essentially. I'm not a huge fan of how it visually shows off what it does, right? Because Tekken is a game where knowing the frame advantage on hit, on block, on counter hit all these things is absolutely essential. You cannot, and I mean you cannot, get around this game while not knowing frame data. You don't need to know the specifics for every move, but you do need to know like the first thing when you watch a video on how to learn a character, right? They're gonna tell you Kazumi's 10 frame punish is her jab, her 11 frame punish is something else. I don't think she has one actually. Her 12 frame punish is 1+2. Her 13 frame is down forward. Her 15 is up kick. Her 18 is forward 3 into 2. And then she has like uppercuts like 21. And this move is 20. Like, and then you also have to learn your crouching moves, where this one's 11 frames. And you do need to know that that one, 1, 2, is 12, because the moves will be -12 sometimes. Oftentimes they'll also be -11. And this is where a lot of the difficult...
Tekken is one of those games where it is, well, you can probably say this about most fighters, but in Tekken it really is true that it's much more important to know what your opponent can do rather than what your character can do. I'd be much happier playing blindly, you know, a new character versus a character I know, rather than playing, you know, my old main versus a completely new character, if that makes sense.
Difficulty in learning Tekken essentially comes in. You need to know, is this move -12? Well, he could have done this one, right? Is it minus... All right. 14, well, he could have done a different punish. Knowing this is absolutely essential to play Tekken at the top level. Now, early on, you can get away with just using jab for every punish, but the problem is that if you're not doing maximum damage on your punishes, the damage output will be very, very different. So just this comparison, right? If I only know that the move is -10 or 12.
But so here he's making the point that you really need to know the frame data. But doesn't this go for every fighting game? So I guess he's going to say, but there are so many moves in Tekken, and that's a problem.
So jab, 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 which is, you know, pretty good 10 frame punish, 25 damage. Now, the proper punish for a 12 frame move that's -12, like this one, or, well, you actually can't do that on that one, but yeah, is this one, which is 30 damage. Now, sometimes a move will just be out of range so that the jab won't hit, like this, but the 1-2 will hit. You need to know that. You absolutely need to know that. I don't even know if this is max damage, but if you do a good combo instead, so you know that move is -18, you can do it like this. Oops, I suck. Right, which does 69 damage. It's obviously like over double the damage because you knew a move was 6 more frames laggy, yes. Right? Now, this is not even optimal. Yeah, you can do even more, but the main problem is it's not really that doing the combos are hard. A lot of characters actually have easy combos, even good ones, like Kazumi. Kazumi is a really good character, but she has very easy combos, right? For the most part. There's some depth in the combos.
I really wish he could just get into what his main gripe is.
Most of it comes from how close to the wall you are. And there are characters such as the Mishimas and Lei, I think he's called, who are very, very hard execution-wise too. But it's absolutely not necessary to be a top-tier player to learn difficult combos. I would say the biggest difficulty in Tekken is learning the amount of moves and learning how to punish things. Not only do you need to block things, right? And some moves like this one, you can duck the second part. If they duck, they get a full punish, launch punish as it's called. But if they, you know, don't duck and just hold back, like most people do, it's -1, right? So it's basically safe. I would say the main problem with this is that a lot of moves look similar. To me, this punch that she does is not obviously crouchable. To me, right? I'm a new player, I played a lot of my games, but to me, this is not obviously crouchable. Instead, I will do another string that's punchable regardless, right? This is -13. And this one's a mid, so this one you cannot crouch. It's not that intuitive to me to see that this string is not crouchable and that string isn't.
To me, this is a little bit comical to say after a week of having played the game that I can't tell the difference between two animations. Well, play the game for 6 months, you know, and come back to this video and you'll probably say, oh, I can definitely tell them apart, because we all can, Tekken players. The animations are quite different. But developers take a long time to make sure that moves are easily identifiable. And yeah, we can actually identify them all.
And then you have the mix-up where you do that string, which punishes people trying to crouch. This is the difficulty with Tekken. You need to know every character's main strings. You need to know where they end, you need to know where it starts. And not only on block. Not only do you need to know it on block, and you need to know on crouching block. Because this move, right? If you block it standing, it actually forces you into crouch. At least I'm pretty sure. See how he's crouching here? So if he presses jab, he will get...
He means that if you play against Kazumi, then you can't even see that it's high. But what you do is that you try and duck it, and then you see, oh, it's high. I don't understand.
Okay, crouch jab.
Should the animation be... It looks like a high to me. I don't know. Doesn't look mid to me. And you can just test it in 1 second, and then you know. Oh, the next 10 years, I know that. I can duck that. So I don't really see the problem here, I gotta say.
Standing jab, which means that you can essentially beat... You're actually better than -1. And a lot of the time when I fight someone, they'll do a long ass string, and then at the end of it, I'll be crouching.
Why would you try to duck it, he means? To see if it's high?
And I'll do jab, jab 1, and I'll just get this one. And there's a lot of moves that are, for example, like high then mid, low then high. And just, if you're new to Tekken, essentially you mostly stand block in Tekken, whereas in regular fighting you mostly crouch block. And lows are the risky slow ones that don't give much punish, just like how an overhead...
Gas mask, thanks for the gift subs, buddy. Thank you so much.
So that's a very good beginner tip. Don't start stand blocking. Something that took me a long time to realize was that you actually don't even need to hold back to block. The game, maybe it does tell you, but I did not get the message at the very least that if you hold nothing, the game will make you block standing always. You don't have to hold back to block.
You have to hold back, because if someone impacts you on a neutral block with something that's very plus, you won't automatically block the follow-up. So follow-up hits will hit you.
Legitimately, I did not understand this for like 4 days. Now, you wouldn't always do that. You should hold back most of the time, but the fact that you can let the stick go and still block things made me very confused for a while. And again, this is the main problem. There's a lot of moves and that the game doesn't tell you. Those two combined cause a lot of frustration for me. They're then coupled with the worst thing, which is online, which we'll get to create a very frustrating experience a lot of the time. Again, you don't only need to know how things are on block and if they force you crouching, if they push you far away. You need to know if they have armor. You know, you need to know the difference instantly between that punch on block and that punch. That one is punishable, right?
But come on, we are very different in startup and animation. But maybe this is something you see when you play 3D fighters a lot. I don't know. And
that one is very safe. This one is forward and then 2, which is the yellow button, as you can see, this button. And the other one is triple forward, so while you're already running, 2. So it can be very...
They give you a hint in that, you know, on the while running 2 is not a power crush, but the... Is it forward 1 plus 2 is doing the power crush? It looks slightly similar, but not too much in my opinion. But she's also covered in that white power crush fog that tells you this is the power crush. You know, punish. This is not
very confusing. And one of them has armor and the other one doesn't. Now, the problem I have essentially is that it takes a very long time to get into the type of game where both people know.
Of course, I'm just trying to objectively do a critique of his review. I understand that he's trying to explain the game to new players, but I think he's kind of... That's not a legit, you know, criticism of a game to say that this animation, I couldn't tell that it was a high. But it's like, and the animations look alike, and it's like, you've been playing for a week, you know. This is where you have to, you know, tone down the criticism a little bit and say, Well, if I'd played for maybe a month, you know, a lot, I would, you know, recognize all of Kazumi's animations rather well. And I've encountered a lot of Kazuya's. I can definitely see what's a down forward one, what's a back two, what's a Thunder God Fist. You know, it's you start to recognize them after a while. And that he can tell that that hook is a high. To me, it looks very high. It doesn't look like a mid. Mids usually connect at the abdomen most of the time. And if you're unsure, you can just try. Takes 1 second. Try and duck it as you're fighting the Kazumi. Because often, you can tell that if a move is too good to be true, it's too good to be true. If 3-2 was mid-mid, you know, that would be too good. So most people actually instinctively try and duck the second hit. Because it looks like a high. And if it isn't a high, the move is pretty stupid. And when you duck it and you're like, oh,
the answer
looks like I could duck it and launch punish her. So it's like, yeah, it comes with time.
To do most things. This is very, very subjective. And I hope people understand that. Some people love this kind of depth. I would consider it complexity rather than depth. You can watch a video that I'll link in the description where TheMainManSWE talks about this concept. But essentially, I don't really consider it that fun to try to whiff punish this normal, only to find out that it has that string, because you can cancel everything on whiff, right? That's not that fun for me. Now, some people love that kind of improvement, and I think I can understand why. When you have that many moves, you can get very instant gratification, right? You get hit by this move, right? How the fuck do I deal with this? This leads to Oki, does a lot of damage, 45 damage from a poke. It's safe on block, basically plus because it forces them to crouch. Now, if you know,
what he's also demonstrating here is one of the absolute worst offenders when it comes to, you know, scrub killer moves, Kazumi 3-2. Most characters don't have something as effective as that. You know, what is that with the follow-up? Like 50 damage. You can get far in lower and some intermediate ranks doing that, but that's not a bad judgment on the game, in my opinion.
You can just duck here, right? Guard all, okay. There we go, yeah. A lot of people love this type of improvement. They see a move, they go into training mode, and they find it out. Now, I would say that the problem I have with this is that I just don't enjoy it, you know? That's basically my problem. It's a shallow one, but I don't consider it very fun to have a ton of moves. Most moves have a glaring weakness, but there's so many moves and they're so hard to tell apart sometimes that it's very, very hard to get into the kind of gameplay where both people are fully playing the game. At top level, every single player will know that this string is crouchable. Now you get into the mind game. Can you hit confirm it with one? Or will you mix it up with this one that punishes crouching? That's awesome. But there's also a lot of moves that simply are just pure gimmicks. This thing, for example, right? From fly, you can do low, which is very punishable, or you can do high, which is safe and plus even. Then you also have this move that's unblockable. And then you also have that move, which crouching, wall bounces, so a lot of damage. And you have that move, which does some other things. This move that hits people laying on the ground. And then finally, how do you do this? Yeah, we have an unbreakable grab. And I didn't even understand that this was unbreakable the first time I did it. I don't really know what it is. Maybe it's the effect after. And this even wall splats in the corner. So you get a lot of damage from it, right? Look at his life bar. That absolutely can decide matches. Now, of course, there's still some mix-ups. It's still a legit stance, right? But once you know the trick, you can make the mix-up significantly worse. When you really only look out for this one and that one and maybe the high. But for a new player, how the fuck should he know that grab wall splats? And there's so many of these stances and these specific moves.
But why would a new player just know that immediately? I don't know. I just don't understand the point he's trying to make. Why would a new player know things? That's why you play the game a while and then you learn the game. Or am I missing something? It literally sounds like, how would a new player know about this gimmick or this gimmick? And of course they won't. He wants the game to have more intuitive things being displayed. What does that even mean? I just don't understand.
Moves that are extremely hard to know, and these strings that are extremely hard. This is a low.
Okay, things are very hard to know. There are a lot of moves. He referenced my video on complexity. Tekken is extremely complicated, and it gets worse with time. In Tekken 4, characters did not have as many moves as they have today, and with each iteration of a game, everyone keeps their moves. But of course, we want more, we demand more of a fan base. We want new moves, we want new frames, and they alter things, they change things. And suddenly, what was a 40 move list is a 70 move list. A 150 move list is suddenly 250. Yes, Tekken has that problem where there's a lot of bloating in the game, and there's suddenly a lot of characters in Tekken 7. And this makes it an infinite experience because you've never learned the game. There's always a new move to look at, something new to lab, a new character you don't know. But some people see that as a great strength. You know, the adventure never ends. You've never climbed to the top of a mountain. Some people really like that. Some people really dislike it. God knows, as a new player picking up this game, holy shit. I mean, for the first year, you're basically just getting pummeled by characters left and right before you start to understand what's going on. It's a very complicated game, has a lot of depth as well. Depth and complexity are not the same thing. But him saying, what is a new player supposed to do? Of course it's going to be overwhelming for a new player. But again, what game isn't? Play some of the most popular games. Play League of Legends, Dota. How many heroes do they have? Items, abilities, the map. You know, it's like, it's a fair criticism in some way, but in another way, it's like, well, it's a fighting game.
Let's put him here. This move avoids highs, then hits low. It's -3, but then you can also do a follow-up, the combos, and then you know you can do the third low. But this one they can actually block the second one, right? Unless it's counter hit. But a lot of people will get caught by this because they don't know, right? And there's no combo counter in game, so sometimes it's very hard to know if something comboed or if you just.
You just repeated his point. He's just explaining it in detail and saying he isn't enjoying it and wants to get into mind games faster than Tekken will eventually do. Okay.
Blocked the wrong way, where you were a little bit slow. Add online to this and it becomes very, very hard to know. Now for grabs, you have to break grabs differently. Right? This, you break with a 1 or a 2. The back grab, you break with a 2. 2 or 1, and then you have command grabs, which uses both hands. That's the only thing. And the command grabs can basically be broken in different ways. Kazumi's, you need to break with 1+2. Dragunov and King and others have command grabs that break differently. And basically, the answer is you gotta die and you gotta Google it, and then you will, or you gotta you gotta look it up. You can't, in any way, shape, or form, know how to beat most of these things the first time. It's a game that 100% just rewards you taking time and playing the game for 15 years straight.
So basically every game out there. Okay.
Some people love that. I personally think the game could do a lot better of a job telling you things and a lot better of a job explaining. You know, it doesn't need to necessarily tell you, oh, how do you block it now? But once you've already gotten hit, what's the damage in saying this was a 1+2 break? What's the damage in after you're already done saying that was a 2 break? Instead, what you can use is a bot called Tekken bot, which I use, which puts a neat overlay up. Now, the problem I have with this bot is that it only shows the last 3 moves, and it's very hard to react to in time, right? So let's say you get hit by this move. As of now, the move, if I look right now, it doesn't even say, the move anymore. It says run 3, 4, 2, DF1.
So he wants to play with the Tekken bot and react to the frame display in time, or to punish, or...
So I no longer know if this is safe or not. Because, it doesn't keep up more than 3 moves. Now, maybe there's a way to change this, but I Googled, and I could not find a reason why. What basically this means is you gotta Google, you gotta YouTube, you gotta Google a fuckload, right? Basically, I improve pretty quick in this game, right? What I would do for every single character, for every single time, is you gotta fucking Google. You open it up, you Google how to tech Kings grab Tekken 7.
I'm in
then
prison.
You have to read a full guide, and now you will beat this character like 50% more. That's legitimately how the game works. The game has a lot, and I mean a lot of shortcuts. People try to tell you, you just gotta grind it out.
Again, I'm not shitting on Mr. Leffen here. I'm just objectively responding to his criticism of the game. And some of the things he says, I'm a little bit like, but some of the things are extremely valid. Most of the stuff he said at the start of this video was 100% accurate. And please, guys in the chat, let's not shit on Leffen. It's very interesting to hear his perspective.
If you want to improve quickly, do not try to grind it out. Google it out, okay? How do you sidestep versus Leroy?
What's he Googling?
You Google it. There's a season 2 guide. That's old. So you gotta find someone up, sidestep Leroy, and you go and you read up. I hear sidestep was a lot, but he's up for the save orbital tracks that way.
What most people do, and again, I can understand that beginner players, they don't even sidestep. I think sidestep comes into intermediate play for almost the first time. And at high level, people are very astute with the sidestep. But what most people do is that most people who play Leroy, and you'll see this pattern with every character in Tekken, while a character has 100 moves, 95% of players you will encounter will use the same bag of tools, 10 to 15 moves, over and over and over. And this goes for every character. So what you do is, after a while, when you've played for about a couple of months, you'll know basically what Leroy players like to do. And you'll quickly find them and identify them in the move list. Then you'll set the dummy to do those moves. And then you'll try and see, again, how do I defend against them? Leffen showed this. But you can also here try to sidestep. And you'll see that, oh, okay, if I sidewalk towards the left, most of Leroy's moves whiff. You start to get a sense of how to move against the character. But of course, it's when you do this very precisely, you are in high-level play, where you really analyze. You go through the entire move list. What side can I step the character? And does the down forward 1 track to the weak side, which it usually is. But now we're talking about really, really high level of play. Most beginners don't really need to look at all that, I would say.
This is how you get good, okay? And of course, fundamentals, movement, execution, all those things also matter. But the unique thing about Tekken is that Google...
But when he says this is how you get good, like what you're talking about now is like really, really good. And the best player in Sweden didn't know about frames and came, to the local Tekken tournaments, and destroyed everyone, and he didn't know what a frame was. He played by instinct. He's a very, very smart guy. So there are a lot of very talented Tekken players who don't know what frames are, and you see many of them online each and every day. They go by instinct, and they learn to put moves together in very distinct and creative patterns, flowcharts, and it annoys everyone. They play so weird, everyone feels. But no, they're just playing a different type of Tekken, and they're doing it very effectively. So the thing, Leffen's approach here, you don't have to do this. Of course, if you want to become a tournament player, but what's that? That's 1 in 10,000? I don't know. 4 million people have bought the game. How many went to Evo? 2,000. It's like, who are we talking about here? And you know what a lot of people do? Instead of learning defense and Googling where to sidestep, they pick up a character like Hwoarang and Lei that control the pacing of a match with very, very strong pitbull pressure, strong stance mix-ups. Rather than blocking and being defensive, they choose to go with offense because they don't want to block. This game gives you so many possibilities to go about the game. Certainly, it's very hard to become a very gifted defensive player, but most people don't really go for that and very effectively go with strong offense. And Tekken very easily lets you construct offense with 100 moves in average per character. Put those together, you know, build flowcharts, build momentum.
Google and having someone teach you is far more helpful than just playing. If you want to get good at this game, that is something you have to realize and you have to accept. Now, if you don't want to get good at this game, fuck it, bro. Just mash. No one gives a shit, right? Stay bad, just mash. Tekken can actually be pretty fun to just mash. But I will say that learning this game without a personal coach, or at least a very, very supportive teacher / community, is not fun for me. I think I could probably get a coach, and I'm lucky in that sense, but I simply do not really enjoy the fact that I have to get one if I want to learn things. This, of course, coaches and Googling stuff, of course it helps in other games too, but I would say the necessity of it is very, very high in Tekken compared to most games. Now, the problem is also that things change a lot. So when you Google things like sidestep guide, this is something I had up all the time, right? Because if you don't know which way to move. You don't know how to play it. The problem here is that you go into this guide, and since the game is constantly being updated, a lot of these things is outdated. You have Akuma. Akuma has good homing, so sidestep is not always safe. Then you have some characters that you need to sidestep and crouch. Some characters that...
It's not a game for Leffen. He is not enjoying it. Therefore, he has very little motivation. And then the amount of stuff in the game is daunting to him. He's not motivated to have people give him advice. Well, of course, it's not going to work. Obviously. And he immediately wants to become a super strong player. You need a coach to immediately become a super strong player. And it's like, why would that be anyone's goal, you know? Just pick up the game and enjoy it and play a character you like. Do the moves you like. And if a character really annoys you when you play, you can choose to either lab the character or don't rematch, play somebody else. I don't know.
In general, you sidestep right against Robin. I mean, Bob, not Robin. What the fuck? And then at mid-range, you sidestep left. But a lot of these things, people will know intuitively if they have been playing for a long time, right? And some characters have some moves that track right, and some moves that track left. And sidestepping is different on both sides. If you try to sidestep out of crouch, you can only sidestep upwards. But if you're on the other side,
upwards,
you can only sidestep this way. And so depending on which side, you're actually...
A move that forces crouch, you can never step towards the camera, only to the background. And this is a problem with Leroy. I recorded a video on his on how to counter him.
Better / worse against different characters based on which side you are.
It's a classic problem in Mishima matchups as well, where the player 2, Mishima, who blocks the Kazuya forward 4, can't sidestep left. Is it a problem not being able to sidestep left versus Kazuya?
You are on the opponent. It's all very, very complicated. Kazumi's down forward, this one, is actually better when you're on this side because you can't step it because it forces you crouching, or at least it used to. I don't know if it still does. But the problem is that a lot of things you Google are not complete. So this is updated for season 3, right? But it doesn't have Leroy, which is the most...
So basically, overall, this review in many words is the game is highly complicated. You need to spend a lot of time with this game. Yeah, takes a long time to master. You can quickly have a lot of fun with Tekken. You know, you don't need to be a pro to have fun with Tekken. That's the thing with Tekken. And as he said, anyone can go online, pick Alice and Mash or Eddie and have fun. Immediately. But yes, if you want to become a master, it's like earning a black belt in any goddamn martial art or becoming proficient at MMA, to be honest. It takes forever. But some people like that the sense of accomplishment and achievement when you do well in this game is humongous because it's so rewarding and satisfying because you put in so much work. And you really respect great Tekken players because you know, just by seeing them play, that he has, you know, earned his stripes and his scars. He has spent a lot of time with this. You can immediately see by certain execution and knowledge and movement in this game that, wow, that guy is a master. That is something you really have in Tekken that is part of its identity.
Played character that I face online right now. Now that's obviously a huge problem, and a lot of this knowledge, right? This guide goes back to Tekken Tag 2, which was the previous game, because that's how far back the knowledge goes. How to fight Dragunov is largely the same from game to game. What this means is that people that have been playing longer than you have a massive advantage. Like, it almost feels right. It's not.
Leffen wants to pick up a game and quickly do very well. And this, when I explain complexity in my video, no wonder he referenced my video, because I talk about chess in my video. Chess has a lot of depth, but not a lot of complexity. Anyone can pick up chess. If you're very gifted, you'll pick it up in, what, half an hour, and then you can play chess. You know, and then you can start learning about, you go into strategy immediately because you know what everything does very quickly. Tekken has a lot of depth as well, but there are a million chess pieces, a million of them, and you have to learn what all of them do. And I think this is his problem. He likes more simpler games where you, within 30 minutes, you understand what you can do, and it's suddenly about mind games. This is Leffen's review, basically. So I've never played Smash, but I understand characters don't have a lot of moves. Well, probably I can pick up Smash, you know, and just, there are a couple of pieces, but within 2 days, I know what everyone does, and it's about mind games. So I can understand he liked my video on complexity, because that's where you can either see it as a strength with Tekken, or you can see it as a problem.
Actually like this, but it really feels like it's almost unfair how hard this game rewards playing different games. If you didn't play Tekken Tag 2, well, too bad. If you didn't play Tekken 6, too bad. You're gonna have to learn all of these things that everyone else already knows as a fact, and you're gonna actually have to learn how to play your own character well if you want to be great at this game. Isn't this the case for any competitive game? No. Most games do reward legacy in some way, but many games do not reward legacy skill as hard as Tekken. It's huge in Tekken. Smash is similar in that aspect.
I think every game does this, as he said, but again, this is Tekken's identity. You know, and that's why we like it. It's different. Do we really want every game to be a Smash or Street Fighter?
Depends on how you see it. I would say that in Melee, legacy basically does not exist. Very little transfer over from Smash 64, obviously. The game is also constantly changing, so like you can catch up in Melee pretty quickly because there's a lot of new things that fight the legacy. Net play, guides, you know, you can learn the game in a newer way. Of course that exists for Tekken too, but Melee and other Smash games don't have as many characters. Now, I will say that legacy skill is absolutely a thing when it comes to Smash 4 and Ultimate and Brawl. Brawl into Smash 4 into Ultimate, a lot of things transferred. It's why really only me and a few Melee players that can even compete against the top Smash 4 players, because the game is largely the same. And again, legacy skill is even heftier when it's so knowledge based, right? Tekken has, relative to other even Smash games, fewer rule changes from game to game. They have a couple new moves, they have a couple new things, a couple new stages, but largely the fundamental gameplay remains very similar. even in Smash 4 to Ultimate, which is not a big jump, everything changed. Like the movement, the combo system, the DI, the Smash DI, all the stages that you play on neutral, everything changed, right? Like the top tiers changed. You know, the Mishimas have been good in almost every game, I'm pretty sure. That's my biggest complaint, right? The game is very, and I can understand this, hard for newcomers. Some people love this, okay? And maybe in a different reality where it had a better offline scene.
But the thing is, in the same way, it's not hard for newcomers, because I explained previously that what they do is they pick up a character which is often, you know, very offensive, string heavy stances, and they just attack. It is very easy to attack in Tekken. It's very hard to block or defend. So there are options for everyone. A lot of people have fun with that. But of course, if your name is Leffen and you want to become as great as possible, as quickly as possible, this is not the game.
I would also like not mind this as much, but I don't like having that many different things to learn just to get into the game, part of the game that I actually enjoy. So what I actually enjoy is when both people know you can sidestep this one right, you can this one track sidestep, this one hits hits crouches but it's safe. I like when the mind games, when it becomes about the player versus the player. Again, this is subjective, but I don't really like when he doesn't know that I have this grab and then I hit him with it. Now, a lot of mid-level players love cheese like that. To me, it's not, my favorite.
It can be very frustrating. I have a friend who plays Tekken. He's played it casually for 15 years, on and off, and he's in the same ranks as Leffen, and he also gets super annoyed when he plays. He knows half a cast somewhat, but when he runs into Lucky Chloe, Kuma, Lei, Hwoarang, and he's just they go for spray and pray. They do stuff, and he's just guessing, and he gets really annoyed after a while. Everyone has felt that in Tekken. If you don't know a matchup, it's like your chances of winning are just not very high. It can be very frustrating, especially in those ranks where everyone just goes a balls out offense and hopes that you don't know the matchup. That's what they do. But after those ranks, they gatekeep you. They knowledge gatekeep you. As soon as you go to like Fujin and above, it becomes much more fundamental. People are not just constantly attacking. It's more about the movement game, and it looks more like what you see in tournaments. High-level play starts. So I can see what he's saying, obviously, but this is coming from someone who wants to immediately become really good, and it's just not going to happen in this game. And plenty of beginners have a wonderful time with Tekken. Just picking it up, going online with Alisa and shooting some rockets, doing chainsaws.
Favorite thing. And it doesn't really feel like I can play an honest, actual, real game of Tekken like the top players do, where both people know everything, until about like 5-10 matches in. And here's the problem. When you play online, it's about ranked, right? So people, they play 3 games, they win all of them because you don't know how to beat their strings. You don't know when the string goes high, when the string goes low, when the string goes mid, what the frame advantage is. And once you learn that, you start getting close, they leave, right? To get the maximum amount of points. So the problem is essentially that on the line, the game is not very enjoyable to play for me. Now, a lot of people say, well, Leffen, why don't you play the game offline? So I actually said this earlier that, man, I know there was a local tournament that had like 80 entrants. I know there's some good players in Stockholm. I even know some of them. So there's bound to be locals, right? Nope. A lot of people that like Tekken are in their late 20s, their 30s.
There are locals.
They've been playing Tekken. They have it as a hobby. A lot of them are fucking good, but very few people seem to take the game super seriously, like grind out sessions all the time. And those that do generally do have private sessions with other good Tekken players. At our local that has a lot of fighting games, there's like from 0 to 3 people playing Tekken, and one of them is Psych, who I already know from Smash, right? And there's only ever actual locals, you know, where a lot of people come every month. So for someone trying to pick up the game, how am I supposed to pick up the game when I can only play the game offline every month, right?
Yeah, every month there is a offline ranked battle event. But why wouldn't you play online? I don't.
The answer is always so sad. It's online. Online is hell in Tekken. While it does have an okay relative to Ultimate and SF5 netcode, I would say the netcode is not terrible. It's simply bad.
What? Tekken's netcode is bad. It's really good on PC, I think.
You know, it's not rollback. You play on PC, slightly less lag. Now the problem is that Tekken feels like,
I mean, it's really objectively way better than Street Fighter V and many fighters you would directly compare it to.
a game, at least from my experience, that is very reliant on whiff punishing, on reacting. There's a lot of moves that are, for example, this move's a low, like a snake edge. It will dodge everything. It will give a full fucking combo. What's the weakness? How is this move not completely broken? Well, if you're good at recognizing the move, you can react to it. Online though, you can't. So the move is just kind of busted online. Similarly, when you sidestep through moves, and then you do an attack to punish something, your hurt box is...
But I don't understand. Why wouldn't this be the case for every fighting game out there? Lag gives you delay, which means your input comes out slower, so it's harder to react to things. Tekken has a great netcode compared to Street Fighter V.
Is enlarged as you do it, right? The problem is essentially with that is that if someone does a string and you sidestep it, you don't know if you get the punish right away. You need to watch what string is he doing. Does it have a second part? Is he going to do jab jab 2? Which tracks? What this means is that sidestep and then reacting is basically a very, very fundamental thing in Tekken. And with punishing, backdashing, and then standing at this range, he did something, and then do a button. And here's the second part about the online. What's wrong with this? Well, it says 4 bar, disconnection rate 2, English, but it's showing Asia as the region. Why does it think, as a person from Sweden, why does it think that I have a 4 out of 5 bar connection with someone from Asia? Now, this will also give me people from, like, I've had people from Australia, I've had people from the US. Basically, the game lies. The game like makes a very shitty estimation what it thinks our ping will be, and then once you actually load into the match,
here he is 100% absolutely correct. That bar indicator is notoriously unfaithful. It will betray you at all turns. Completely correct.
You actually get to experience it. You can't track at all really what country someone is from. Sometimes they will have it set to a different one, and some
may set it to a different language, and the language you've set Tekken 7 to, the game, is the language, is the region it says you're from. So it has nothing to do with tracking your global location.
Sometimes they'll just have a different language. Expecting to get good matches, you're not gonna get it from the official one, right? So let me just take you through, like, I'll play this guy. I'm not gonna play good, but let's just try and see how it is, right? How my process is when playing someone. Oh, it's a Kazumi. This is actually the first time I'm playing Kazumi. So now I'm gonna go look up, what way do I sidestep? I sidestep right. Well, I know most of the frame data now, but you need to basically Google as soon as possible, how do you beat this character every single time if you wanna.
So over the top, like, Jesus, I gotta Google how did I do. It's like, my God, chill, live up to chilling, dude. Like, Jesus. Or you just play a couple of matches and learn the matchup, or you play a couple of weeks the matchup. Like, why does the first match have to, everything has to be perfect? It's like, it just comes with time. And when you do research as hardcore as this, it's like, my God, like, who even does this? I love this game. It's my job, but I don't sit and Google every match.
Perform well.
Who would do that? Like, do you expect to become Evo champ after 7 days? I'm not saying this is Leffen's idea, but like, I don't know. It just seems crazy to me.
Oh. Yeah, as you see, the connection's already gone on to a 4 out of 5. Uh-oh. I'm getting my shit slammed. Fuck, dude. Playing ranked on stream, not a good idea. Counter hit.
Why is that not a good idea? It's really fun. Well, I mean, if you think it's fun, I guess. Sorry, that was my own subjective opinion. Oh, snipes and key charges. Well, I have my fair share of that as well.
This guy's doing a lot of weird ass gimmicks. What? Oh, that's not punishable? Oh, he did that move, which is the most punishable.
Oh yeah, no, Tekken players should not be giving
so
Leffen shit.
Alright.
It's a great thing having high-profile FGC members try the game. I mean, Smash is 1,000,000 times bigger than Tekken. It's great. Don't shit on him. I'm doing this because I'm interested in what he has to say.
Rage strike punish.
And me disagreeing with him sometimes is not shitting on Leffen. We're all grown-ups. I want to hear his opinion, and I'm sharing my opinion.
Finish. YOLO! Fuck.
Round 4. Fight.
Yeah. I'm getting so triggered. I should not be playing this on stream, man. I really should not.
He's getting triggered. Oh. Yeah, Tekken will do that to you. Snipes. I mean, I'm used to it now, but yeah, dude, can I get annoyed?
I'm like completely forgetting how to step too.
Final round. Fight.
Oh god. Oops.
I'm just getting the sense that he's forcing it too much. When you, prior to a match, sit there and you're already Googling a matchup, it's like, you're never ever going to enjoy the game like that. Just trying to cram everything in at once. I have to be as good as possible within 2 days. Whoa! You're never gonna enjoy the game. And it's just never, you're never going to build motivation going at something like that. It just seems too forced.
Ah, that was a terrible punish. Fuck. I didn't lose the mirror match. But yeah, basically, what you need to know whenever you're playing someone is what kind, like at least I might. Oh. Okay, this is such a perfect fucking example of Tekken Online. Hype match, close, same character, you lost, run. That's the Tekken experience if you want to play online. It's gonna take time. Exactly. I don't have fun because I have to spend more time. That's basically what everyone's saying to me. Some people say you should have obviously known this, but anyone that's actually decent know that Tekken has a lot of weird exceptions, a lot of weird rules, and sometimes a mid gets patched to a high or reverse. Sometimes the move looks like it's plus, but it's minus, and sometimes it looks like it's minus, but it's plus. And some people say, you're just being overwhelmed. Exactly. You're placing more importance on learning these type of things than necessary. Well...
But of course you're going to get overwhelmed after a week. You know, when I tried to, you know, start lifting weights at the gym, I was also overwhelmed by everything I needed to know to do it very proficiently, you know, and in a good way that served me well. Maybe when you start driving a car, you know, gotta give it more than a week, you know. It's like, I don't know. Or, you know, when I got into Dark Souls, it took me more than a week to really understand even the basics of a game.
How do you think so? Because I tried to whiff punish, and well, the string had another part, so I got launched instead. I tried to punish something, but I got no damage instead of launch punish because I didn't know how to duck. That's basically almost a half round of damage.
I think he's frustrated in that he can't just pick up the game and pwn everyone, is what it sounds like. Because he's a brilliant fighting game player. But Tekken doesn't allow that because there's too much you need to know about, you know, it's not only, you know, about you being very gifted and smart, it's about actually learning the game. And he wants chess, where he learns the rules in 30 minutes and then can beat everyone.
In just knowing that one move could be duckable. Someone did a snake edge, and I didn't know that character had one, and now I lost an entire round on that. Is that fun? Maybe to you. Maybe I don't need to focus on it, but I want to. I want a game where I can reasonably expect...
It's more about knowledge than skill. No, it's 200% about skill. 200%.
To learn most things. You know, it's just not for me, man. A lot of people act as if you just need to accept it. But the thing is, I don't. Maybe some of you guys have been playing Tekken so long that you think it's your identity to play Tekken and to be a Tekken player. And that when I say Tekken is not for me, you think that I'm insulting you specifically. No, I don't have to learn any of these things. I can play another game. There's a lot of fighting games that are good right now. And yeah, I just don't feel the need to learn a game that doesn't bother putting up a tutorial in it, you know? I don't feel the need to learn a game that can't give a mission mode, or it can't tell me how to tech throws in-game. You have to Google it. I don't want to compete in a fighting game where they play best of 3 all the way up until winter finals.
Okay, we are 70% through his review, and I really wish this was a 5-minute video just saying in a couple of sentences, the game has a lot of complexity. Depth and complexity are different things. I don't like the complexity of Tekken. It is too much. I do not feel motivated. I couldn't just pick up a controller and do extremely well. I couldn't do high-level play within 7 days. And I don't like that. I wanted the mind games to come faster. Well, that's not Tekken.
Where they let Leroy, Akuma, and Geese rock for a full season, and then... Did they balance patch right before Tekken World Tournament? Is that true? I think I heard someone say that. Yes. That's sad. Yeah. Akuma nerf. But he was the best character, so it's a big fucking deal. There's a lot of things I don't agree with in Tekken, but I want to state this very, very clearly, okay? Tekken is a good game. If you love Tekken, I'm really fucking happy because you are in luck. You have a great Tekken game on your hands, and chances are that you're already playing this game, right? I didn't need to tell you shit. Now, would I recommend this to a new player? For me, it's very hard. You will have to enjoy the type of learning.
It's so interesting to phrase it like that. Would I recommend this to a new player? But everyone is new at stuff at first. Everyone is the beginner at one point of their career. No one starts as the master in anything. So what he's going to say is, should you even bother with this? If you've never played Tekken before, should you even fucking bother?
That Tekken offers. Tekken learning is basically, you're gonna have to get hit by a lot of shit. You can focus on the fundamentals and you will definitely improve, and I have improved as well, but you're gonna have to accept that you're gonna get hit by gimmicks, you're gonna get hit by unblockables, you're gonna lose 100% of your life to one king throw, you're gonna get hit by Yoshimitsu's everything.
He's completely correct here, and this is something I've expressed in a lot of videos. Yes, when you pick up this game, your average Joe, and you go online, 1,000,000 characters doing 1,000,000 moves, you're going to get swamped and destroyed. But a lot of people actually do that right back at their opponent. Oh, you want to see gimmicks, huh? No, and that's fun to them. There's some joy in that. You don't need to be a pro player or, you know, go for the high level strats to find Tekken to be enjoyable. So saying to the new guy, you're going to get blown up by gimmicks, and it's like, well, that's, I don't know, you're not talking to the new guy here. You're talking about someone like yourself who is already very in tune with fighting games and who picks up a game and plays a certain defensive, smart way and gets blown up. When I say the new guy, like the average Joe, many of them are just content, you know, content or happy. Picking one of these characters like Yoshi or Gigas and doing throws, doing strings. If someone's trying to cheese them, they're very happy to cheese them back. So I can see where he is coming from, but I feel like it's not really looking at the overall big picture. In my opinion.
It's just how it is. And the game doesn't make any apologies for what it is, which is completely fine. It's just not for me, man. And I don't think it's for a lot of people. But here's the thing I want to say to the Tekken community. You're awesome, keep doing what you do. But if someone has gripes with the game, you cannot take it so defensively. It's completely fine that they don't like that every character's AE moves. It's completely fine that they want a tutorial. It's completely fine that they don't like the online.
A lot of Tekken players do get very, very emotional about the game. You see this on Tekken Reddit often when someone posts saying, the game is not balanced, or I don't like a certain character, and people can become very vitriolic and hateful. And it's not only Tekken Reddit. You can see this a lot, and a lot of people send hate mail after, you know, getting beaten by someone, or someone doesn't rematch. Oh, why didn't you rematch? Well, like it's some, you know, unwritten golden rule that you always have to rematch or whatever. And he's even talking about it now. Like, no one is forced to rematch. You don't have to, you know. But yeah, don't take it too personally. He's had a lot of good criticism in the video, but with some things I feel like maybe it's not the game you review after 7 days. The overall gameplay and experience.
Would I recommend to this game to buy it? If you want to buy it for PS4, right? Like, how much is it? Like on a regular day, not on the sale. 50? Yeah, for $50 for PS4, I would not recommend it to buy it right away. What I would do is, since Tekken is a game where if you're into it, you might just fucking love it. Like, you might play Tekken until the day you die. What I would do is look up your local Tekken scene, right? Through Facebook, through Twitter, through Reddit, because offline is where you will have the most fun playing Tekken. And
this is not, that's not a good thing to express. That's so incredibly subjective. Like, he sees it that way, but I would say 99% of people feel differently. They don't want to play offline. They want to play online.
It's where you will learn the most, because you're going to have to find a supportive scene if you want to get good and enjoy this game, most likely. Or
But everyone doesn't want to become a pro.
at least, you know, find a friend. Maybe split the game, you know, the cost of the game, so it's a bit less intimidating. Try and see if you like it. If you go to your offline scene and they brush you off like, whoa, you haven't even tried the game before, well, then you know that that scene is not nice to new people, and there's really no point in trying to play the game anyway. Discord. Oh, so yeah, if you're into learning the game, joining Discords definitely helps. I still would not recommend playing this game to mostly play online. Even if you play through Discords, the netcode is not very good.
I think he's talking about becoming a pro, not the average Joe. I thought he said if you're new. But so he's talking about that Tekken is hard on people who want to become pro very quickly. I don't know. I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like we're talking about every game out there. Like,
but doing player matches and long sets versus people definitely helps iron out some of the flaws, I would say. That said, I've really enjoyed my week of Tekken. Trying out a new game is cool. I don't think I enjoy the game as much as I just enjoy improving. Let's go through some of the subjective, you know, stupid shit. Like customization, you can customize your character. We made Fox. Yes, it is much better than Ultimate's netcode, but it's still very bad. We made Fox. She has a shine, a scouter. In general, the customization is pretty lackluster. You have to play a mode that no one likes to play to get a lot of the unlockables. But it is there. Again, the game does not tell you a lot of things, and the game does also not do a lot of things. Now, what I will say is one of my main gripes when it comes to like artificial stuff, like on the surface, Tekken has some fucking godlike soundtracks in its catalog, right? But this game is extremely, and I mean extremely, hit or miss on its soundtrack. Some songs are outright fucking awful, and I will play you one now. And the one earlier, Infinite Azure, is fucking amazing. Just listen, man.
I don't know if I'm psychic, but I knew.
But yeah, there are some mods that apparently let you change this stuff, so that's good. And lets you customize your characters a bit more. One gripe I do have is that you can use custom skins in ranked, and you can have taunt items such as gun. And I've legitimately lost matches to someone picking up a fucking gun and shooting me.
Sounds like a sniper, to be honest.
Sounds like a robot has a whole fucking squad of robots has diarrhea at the same time. Yeah, you can have a shower head on your head as you play ranked. There's a lot of really stupid things going on in ranked. So again, I would really recommend playing this game offline. I would definitely recommend watching some YouTube videos. I'll try to link it in the description, but there's the way I learned the game was through watching mostly YouTube videos before I started playing. I didn't play a single match until like day 3. There's a playlist called Learning Tekken the Right Way or something. A lot of it's outdated, which is really sad. All the tutorials aren't amazing. They don't explain everything, but they explain a hell of a lot more than the base game does. Alright, I can't fucking take more of this. Not a big fan of the character design. This is very, 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 very subjective. I don't like how most of the characters fucking look like they're from 2004. Some people love the character design. Some people claim it's classic. I have very few characters in this game that I think are visually appealing. This is very, very subjective. They're supposed to be a bit more down to earth compared to regular fighting games. You know, the styles are based on martial arts instead of like this guy is a fire guy and this guy is an ice guy. But then there's also like, this is a literal vampire. You know, this is a literal robot. Negan from The Walking Dead is here. You know, it's kind of, the roster is a really weird situation. I'm not sure if I like that they have the new characters. I think I do, but it
subjective, of course, but just comparing to other fighting games, what game has cooler designs? I'm inclined to say like Street Fighter Third Strike is really cool. Guilty Gear has some good stuff going on. King of Fighters is good. But if we want to go with a like direct competitor like Street Fighter, Blanca, Ryu, Ken. Oh, it's a guy with a gi. I've never seen that before. Ken. It's like Street Fighter is a really cool fighting game, but the design on the characters is just it's like a McDonald's design, Walmart design, basically. It's just so stereotypical and bland. So Tekken, I mean, it's very diverse, you know, and they've gone for some good inspiration. You know, you have Bruce Lee. King is Tiger Mask, the Japanese classic wrestler. The Mishimas are kind of badass. Kazuya is more of a Yakuza knockoff. But looks cool, you know, has his distinct red eye, scars, and ducktail. Leroy's a very, very successful design. Really, really good, I would say. And then you have guys like Marduk, Paul, Steve, Brian, Dragunov. There really is something for everyone, but if he feels they look outdated,
it also makes the average.
I'm just saying, as he said, he was perfectly correct that it's very subjective. But I think Tekken's characters are actually kind of cool, and it's one of the reasons why it did better than Virtua Fighter. Virtua Fighter was a 3D fighter that had a lot of depth. The fighting was really good. But it never really had characters who sold the game. No one really remembers like Akira, Wolf, Lau, Jeffrey. They kind of pale in comparison to characters like, you know, Jin, Kazuya, Paul, Brian, Heihachi. You know, characters who have a very distinctive look and a lot of personality.
Which characters kind of look really meh in comparison. And a lot of like the girls suffer like major same face syndrome.
But aren't Smash characters like super simplistic? It's a me, Mario! Maybe not that, but just to compare, it's like...
But yeah, some character designs are really cool. Like I like Safina, I like Kazumi.
I mean, it's just a little bit funny, you know, him going to Tekken and saying... it's not a criticism, it's just a little bit comical. Looking at all of that, 46 characters, quite highly detailed, very diverse, and go like, meh. Meh. This is also meh. And then you go back to Smash Brothers. It's a me, Mario, look at me titties. Ah, la, la. 5 polygons jumping around. Ah, Mario. It's a little bit funny, in my opinion.
But I don't really know where the fuck she gets the tiger from. It's kind of random. Akuma's here. Akuma's kind of battle designed in this game, though.
It's not a criticism. Yeah, I'm not shitting on him. It's just a little bit funny, in my opinion.
And I like him in other games. Overall, it's just not for everyone, man. I really don't think this game is for a lot of people. If you see Tekken, I think you can kind of know if it's, you know, for you. Just keep in mind that if you watch tournaments, the gameplay you see at tournaments is not how it's going to be. Like, the game is not very cheese-based in top level, but it's cheese all the way through low to mid to even low high level. Whereas in some games, you can start playing the same game, like the proper game.
Do people not cheese in Smash? I've never played Smash, ever. So please let me know, chat.
Game earlier. Is it hard? I think it's rough to pick up rather than really hard. I promise you don't need to know all that stuff to start playing the proper game. I mean, I can kind of feel like I do play the proper game, but I also feel like this game takes longer to get to the good part than any other fighting game that's out right now. Maybe I'm wrong, but I watched this tutorial earlier. Let's take speed kicks up, right? So the first thing you learn with any character is punishment.
Like, you get the easy stuff out of the way. Punishes and combos first. 10 frames. She has 1, 2, 2.
So you learned the 10 frame punish.
Has frame advantage and leaves them standing. And she also has 1, 1, 2, which is probably what you'll end up doing more because of the knockdown and the fact that you can like confirm it really easily. Doesn't wasp split.
This is a good tutorial, by the way. I 100% agree with the way he's going.
1+2, which has had its damage toned down in season 2, but it's still dope. It has like really deceptive range. So it
but like basically what he does through here is he goes through frame by frame which punish you have on each specific option, from crouching, from standing, from which range. And for me, if you go through Leffen Young Link or something like that, right? When you learn a Smash character or a regular fighting game character, the first thing you do is you show off the moves and like what makes this character this, not what frame of move do you use to punish this thing with. And
sorry, I'm thinking of a response here that is adequate. This is not a comical pause. I'm really thinking of how to formulate this as clearly as possible. You can actually make a Tekken character guide that starts out by not going through the punishes 10, 11, 12, 13. You can show that Jin, for example, is a lot about the forward 4, which is a long-range counter tool, one of his strongest tools. And then he has forward 4-2, which is the Demon Paw. It's a very strong move, and the Electric. And we can base a lot of our approach with the character around these moves. With every character, there's a core set of moves that kind of define the character. And with certain characters are defined by that, nothing really defines them, like Feng Wei in some instance, and then Zafina or Lei, who just are all about their 200 moves. Well, I mean, not Zafina, she has like 80 moves. But Lei, it's completely different. But they will play a Tekken style that's known as confusion, rather than the direct approach. Leffen played Kazumi. Kazumi is the definition of the direct approach. Lei is confusion. So you can really start explaining characters like that. And it's very interesting. It's like with Brian, fundamentally changes going from beginner to high level play. In beginner play, where Leffen is not a beginner Tekken player, is intermediate after 7 days. But in beginner play, Brian players see orbital, which is up forward 4, and down forward 3, the snake edge. They see that as a 50-50, meaning that you have to guess if it's low or mid. As soon as you go into intermediate play, people react to the snake edge. That's the slow 30 frame big sweep that launches. It is exactly half a second in speed. And this is where Tekken tells you at half a second, you should be able to react to a move. So rather than talking like Speed Kicks did about 10, 12, 15, that's a good way of talking about the Tekken frames in terms of an individual character. But if you want to introduce someone to the game, I would much rather just say the game works in that in 1/6 of a second, which is 10 frames, you are unsafe. You'll eat a punish. But at exactly a quarter of a second, that is where everyone launches at 15 frames. So you can very quickly actually explain something like that to someone. And if they know that, it's much easier to look at the specific frames of any given character, because you know what to expect. Every move that is 15, you know that there should be a launch here somewhere. But yeah, with Brian, for example, super interesting. Yeah, sorry, a detour there. But in intermediate play, people block the snake edge, and suddenly Brian players find themselves going like, oh god, how do I play this character? You know, his other lows, like quarter circle back 3, the hatchet kick, it's hard to do, it has execution, it doesn't give a whole lot on a hit. And suddenly Brian actually has to involve a taunt in high level play, because people break his throws. It's only 1+2 break. People don't respect his lows because they don't hurt that much. That's why Brian, as a character design, has a taunt to break people's guard. Because people don't really like running into Brian pressing buttons. You play defensively because his counter hit game is so strong. And offensively, his lows aren't that scary. So that's why the character has a taunt to break the opponent's guard with high execution. So that's how you can explain a Tekken character very quickly. Beginner as well as high level in only a few sentences. And that makes it much more interesting than saying Brian has a 1-4 for 10 frame, he has 4-3 for 12, he has down for 2-1 for 13. That's not very interesting. So what we're talking about here is a good content creator versus a, well, maybe less good one. Just talk in general. What does this character revolve around? Beginner, high level. Only a few sentences will do to make someone understand the basics of a Tekken character. Rather than going into numbers, because that gets overwhelming immediately. Who the hell wants to know 10, 12, 13, 15? I've forgotten about it 60 seconds later. I don't remember. Just in a few sentences, tell me what are the general rules. My 2 cents.
I feel like that's the type of thing that makes Tekken very, very hard in the beginning. Am I saying that there's only one way to learn Tekken? Absolutely not, right? Absolutely fucking not. Some people might enjoy, you know, learning frame data, specific combos, stuff like that. To me, it's just not what I'm in, you know, what I'm looking for. I don't really feel like I'm playing.
We'll just listen to the end now, and then we will do some concluding remarks.
In the game, I don't really feel like it's fun to lose. Do things you just didn't know. I don't really think it makes it deeper just because it has more moves. But some people love that part, and I'm really happy for those people. But yeah, overall, can I recommend this game? If you're watching this and you think it looks fun, fuck it. You know, fuck what I'm saying. Give it a try, right? But can I recommend someone dropping $50 to be miserable for 2 months and then liking the game? No. I think there's plenty of fighting games that you can have fun within the far earlier, even if most fighting games are hard to pick up. Of course, dude, I know I can backdash more stuff, but you can't get around the fact that a lot of strings are pure cheese. Oh yeah, on sale I heavily recommend it. Right now there's a sale, but I don't know. So this teaches you how to avoid cheesy strings. All right, so, okay, string cheese. I haven't seen any other documents, so I decided to make one encountering typical low-level strings that new players often get blown up with. That's the current work in progress. Shout out to Fair. If you have any questions, right? So okay, so how many pages does this have? 1. Okay, you know, that's a Kuma. That's a lot of those. Oh, it has 83 pages of low-level strings, and it doesn't even cover, you know, like what if my character has a slow launch? You don't need all that. Well, you don't. You need more than this. If you want to be a top-level player, you need to know way more than just the low-level strings, man. So if you enjoy reading this type of things, I think this one is great because it actually has Giphy cats. That's actually one of the main problems I have with learning things, that a lot of them say the move inputs, which mean nothing to me. DF1-2 with Elisa, I don't fucking know what that is, but I do know, you know, I can see it now and then learn to recognize it. But yeah, you know, if you like this part, Tekken is for you, because there is so much, so many specific things. I genuinely really like the core gameplay of Tekken though. I don't love it, but I do really like it. Right? I really like the movement. I like the mix-up game. My main breaking points are essentially my local scene isn't strong. The game rewards legacy skill too much for my liking, so it would take a long time for me to become tournament threat, which is not, you know, a problem really if I like the game more, because then it would be worth the time. 2, the online is too bad for me to feel like I'm having fun in most of the matches, and as I keep going higher rank, there would be fewer and fewer players, which means that the connection will get on average worse and worse. UC is different from the Tekken you play, isn't it because we know all these strings? Well, I do think knowledge is a massive thing. Whiff punishing, block punishing are absolutely essential. Blocking offense, blocking defense, that's what, you know, makes so much about the game. And if you don't know that Safina has a high and a low, and if it's punishable, if it's not launch punishable, you can't play the game properly against her. You can play the game, but it's not going to be proper. Yeah, and if all you want to do is play the game, fuck man, play it. And the problem is, again, that like because the legacy knowledge is so big, it feels like everyone will just accept and be really toxic. I mean, that's my experience in Twitch chat. People are extremely toxic when you don't know a specific thing, or you get hit by some mix-up. But again, just my opinion. I've asked a lot of different people too that are also starting out with the game, Psych, Helix, and sadly, a lot of them have expressed similar problems, that they don't like how much new things, you know, not that there's too much things, but that the game doesn't properly teach you almost anything, and that there's too much legacy stuff. Lol, that's because you don't want to learn on your own. It's so hard to try to argue with people when the only thing they can say is you just bad because mad. Tekken isn't an easy game to jump into and quickly catch up to what's optimal play. I think it's one of the hardest games to pick up, not because it's the hardest necessarily. Even if it was the hardest, that's not why it's hard. Yeah.
Even if it is the hardest game, that's not why it's hard.
Of course people are going to try to get me mad, because again, there's a lot of people that have been playing Tekken so long. They play it through their childhood. They've been playing Tekken. They're in their 30s now, living it in their mom's basement, and the only thing they have keeping their ego together is that they're above mid-level, barely at Tekken, right? These people are going to be fucking pissed off if you think that the game is not literally perfect, right? That's their identity you're insulting. But I also think there's a lot of reasonable people that can see that, you know, I love Tekken, but it's not for everyone. And I honestly think that if you think Tekken is for everyone and easy to pick up and not like the hardest fighter to pick up of this generation, I think you're honestly delusional. Because I can't think of a single fighting game that's even close to as hard to pick up as Tekken. KOF 13 is pretty hard. That's not the current generation. And KOF 13 is not hard to pick up than Tekken. I've, like, a lot of people will be like, Leffen, but you're just a smasher. You're used to having 10 moves. And like, I know a lot of people say that, but just for clarity, right? Like, I played Third Strike. I was kind of shit at Third Strike. I played SF4 and now
Third Strike is an amazing fighting game and incredibly hard to pick up.
To get Capcom Pro Tour points.
Probably the best Street Fighter game, in my opinion.
Without having an actual main. I was one of the best in Sweden in KOF 13. I was the second best in Marvel 3. I was top ranked in both PS1.
Did he say King of Fighters 13? He was one of the best in Sweden, I thought.
PS4 and PC in Marvel Infinite when that came out. SF5, I was the highest ranked player in Sweden when it came out. I was, obviously like top 10, top 20 level in Dragon Ball. Living in a shit region. Top in Smash. Am I forgetting some fighting? I probably am, but yeah, it's not just Smash players having a hard time, right? It's a hard game to pick up, even compared to all of those other fighting games. I played Eunice and stuff like that.
Yes, it is a super hard game. You can't pick it up and immediately do extremely well. Although he's done Genbu in 1 week, you know. Most people dream about doing that. So he's obviously a very gifted guy, you know, very talented. But yeah, it's a very, very, very hard game. And to some people, that's a problem. Some people see beyond that and they say, well, I don't have to be, you know, the best in the world within a month. I'll just pick Fengwei and I'll have some fun with stances. So.
No, I don't think Tekken is... I don't think you should drop Tekken because it's too hard. I think the combination of hard and teaching you nothing can be very, you know, displeasing to play through. So yeah, I'll probably learn Safina at some point. I can definitely backdash and like get better at movement. For me, it's just like, it's just not fun, man. I have fun with most fighting games. I'm gonna be honest, when I played ranked Tekken, that shit makes me more infuriated than even fucking Elite Smash. And that's a fucking accomplishment, okay? That's a motherfucking accomplishment. I spent a full fucking year hating on Elite Smash, and now I want back because it feels more fun to play. People care less about GSP than they care about rank points, so it's a little bit less toxic. To be clear, I think Ultimate, netcode, and online systems are way worse than Tekken's, but I have access to an offline community scene when it comes to Ultimate, which I do not with Tekken. And even though I think Ultimate has a fuck ton of cheese too, at this point I'm 1 year in, so that cheese isn't as annoying for me. I've learned to deal with a lot of the cheese. Is that a good argument for someone else to pick up Ultimate? Hell no. This is a purely selfish perspective. If I spent 1 year in Tekken, I would enjoy it more than I would enjoy Ultimate. But I would be extremely excited if Tekken 8 came out and did some major changes. Now, some people don't want the major changes, and I don't necessarily expect them there to be. I like the core of Tekken. I just don't like the bloating, the online, you know.
Jesus. Okay, we made it through. I've been recording now for 1 hour and 40 minutes, so this is gonna be one hell of a YouTube upload. That was a 55-minute review after having played for a week. He went into a lot of detail, but he didn't really say a lot about the core mechanics. Like, for example, a pretty big thing, like when you're knocked down, the character doesn't automatically stand up. You have a lot of different options in standing up, and you know, just some core things so people actually understand the depth of the game rather than how bloated it is. And I agree that the game is very bloated. You referred to my complexity video where I probably say that, could it be a good thing to make the Korean backdash easier? Or just mashing back would do a Korean backdash, or removing 50% of the overall moves? I've argued those points, and there are a good amount of arguments to back those. Like, for example, like Leffen, it's easier for people to pick up the game. But then you have to counter-argue and say that, well, it's kind of a game's identity, and it's kind of beautiful to see someone with really good movement who's not using macro, you know, and the fact that an intermediate player, even if he knows the Korean backdash, he doesn't move as fast as a high-level player because they have a stronger backdash. Whereas in Street Fighter, everyone can mash back to backdash. Everyone can jump. Everyone moves at the same pace. So it's like, there are a lot of interesting things Tekken does that I wish Leffen would maybe touch upon. Like, there's a reason why there are many moves. There's a reason why movement is the way it is. There's a reason why you have this many options when standing up. The game is very hard. There's just a lot that goes on with the gameplay. There's a lot of shit that goes into it. And yeah, there's no tutorial, which you can see as a big problem, but you have a very strong community that is willing to teach you online. He said that the online is bad, but then he said that Smash Ultimate has worse online. I know Street Fighter V has worse netcode, so what is he comparing it to? The netcode is pretty good. Like, what are you comparing to? That's where I don't really understand the point he's making. And then when he's saying, you know, just Google stuff as you're playing, go to your offline scene. And so you're talking about hardcore elitists here. Most people will never fucking do that. How many people show up to a fucking local event because I really want to get good at this fighting game? That's not a lot of people. Like, you're talking, the absolute majority will go online and have some fun and try and cheese a little bit. And of course you're going to get cheesed in Tekken. 46 characters, thousands upon thousands of moves, but some people like to do that themselves, you know. It's not like one person is cheesing all the time. You'll cheese back. And everyone cheeses in every game, every online game. I've never played an online game where people don't want the easiest fucking shortcut possible to win. And the thing is, if you actually had fun with the game, and again, I'm not talking about Leffen, but someone else. If you actually had fun with the game and didn't stress it, just try and have fun in the little things. Like, oh, I'm going to get a cool launch. I'm going to learn a cool combo. You know, take it step by step. You know, try and chill a bit. You're playing against someone. Rather than Googling, try and figure out the matchup as you're playing. Oh, he's doing 3-2 with Kazumi. Or they probably don't know about the notations. Oh, he's doing a left kick into a right punch. Everyone can see that. It seems to be on block, he recovers very quickly. Can I maybe duck? Or am I just going to hold back? you know, walk away from him, see what he does then? Can I I'm gonna power crush. That's the move where you glow white. I'm gonna power crush right through it. It's like Tekken has these options. Or you know what happens to everyone who spams cheese? They eat a rage art. Pling, cutscene, rage art. Oh, you know, they put that in just to take out people who love to mash. They eat rage arts all the time, and then they send hate mail. Rage art spammer, blah. You know, it's yeah, I don't know. I get many of his points are quite legitimate, but what I got from this was, if you're a new player coming into Tekken, you want to go to, you don't play offline, no, sorry, don't play online, only play offline, go to events, Google everything, learn everything about frames, and it's just a completely wrong approach of getting into a game. You are talking like a pro player who wants to learn a game super fast and immediately having it become rewarding and satisfying after a week. I should be rewarded by the time I've put down. And it's like, the game is too hard for that. That's why people, they climb this mountain for much longer than a week, and then they get their reward. And the reward is massive. Massive. Because of the mountain you had to climb. That's why people have stuck with this game for 24 years, and why you see a 37-year-old win OGN tournament with Lily. So it's I just wouldn't you know, expect to pick up the game very quickly, and I don't know why anyone would have that mentality. Just try and enjoy the game, do some cool stuff. If you want to get better at the game quickly, you know, look at some tournament footage, look at some guides. But yeah, I don't know. I don't know. Am I not making sense? I feel like it's quite straightforward. I feel like Leffen talks very much out of his own perspective, and it would have been nice to have a little bit more of a mixed bag. So I don't know. That's my 5 cents on Leffen here. He's made some good points, but I just cannot wrap my head around this as a new. Can I recommend it to new players? Don't play online. Go to offline events. You know, study everything all the time. Who does that? Who exactly are you talking about here? Who are you talking to? Like, you're talking to another Leffen, basically, is what it sounds like to me. But I really appreciate the opinions and the video. It was really well made. Good stuff.